Okay, now that I've got your attention, it's true. I am done with these guys. I'm talking about these guys like fair weather fans, the bandwagoners, the critics, and everyone else who's written off the Seahawks after this loss to the Rams. Okay, it's only 6 games. Got 10 games to go left in this season. A lot of things can happen. So I still believe in the Hawks, and I know our best football is still ahead of us. Like Coach Carroll says, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And plenty of time to get this ship right and back on course and to finish strong. So I believe we're still going to get it done, but got to face the facts that, you look at this game and there's definitely some things to be concerned about. Obviously, special teams was a disaster. Usually solid, always can count on unit. Had 3 bad miscues in that game, and really no excuse for it, especially since we've been burned by the Rams before on trick plays. They should know better than to not expect, the unexpected from these guys. But the 3 things that they got us on, there was the long kick return, which is something we rarely do. I hadn't seen a kick return past like the 35-yard line, maybe at the most, in a long time. But that long kickoff is unusual. I think everybody kind of relaxed. I think they thought he was going to down it in the end zone, and they ran it out, and maybe they kind of relaxed and got caught off guard. But that punt, the fake punt where the return guy faked the return like he was going to catch the ball to the left side of the field for the Rams, right side for the Seahawks, but left side for them. And then the other guy caught it and ran it back on the other for a touchdown on the other sideline. It was brilliant. I hate to say it because I've never seen that before. And I remember being in this, from my view in the stadium, I was in the corner where the guy actually caught it in that side. And I remember watching the ball thinking, wow, it's coming this way. And I just watched all the Seahawks guys fly to the other side. I'm going, they have no idea where the ball is. They're screwed, He's got nobody on that side, and sure enough, he catches it. It's just like off to the races. Saw it coming from the moment the ball was coming down. I thought, this is bad. And everybody got fooled, especially on the broadcast and everything, because from that view, you can't really see how far what direction the ball's going. It's just going up, but you can't tell if it's here close because it's all depth of field. Can't really see how far away it is. But that was pretty smart. I can't see it ever happening again. It's like a one-trick pony, but I've never seen that trick before, and that was got handed to him. Jeff Fisher with his sneaky little gadget plays. But when you've only got one game, why not? Do whatever you can to get an edge, and it worked. It got us 3 different times. I guess I'm not too worried about that because this was an anomaly. I don't think any other team's going to try this kind of stuff, and I'm sure Seattle won't let that happen again. So you can pretty much count that this type of special teams performance is in the past. But what is concerning is the defense. We're still not making stops when we have to, especially on 3rd down. As like I said at the beginning of the year, 3rd down efficiency and red zone scoring once again came back to bite us in the butt in this game as well. Not getting the stops, still not getting the turnovers, not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. Everybody knows that if you've been watching the games. And man, I've just been saying it since, I don't know how long now, since the Chargers game, that we're just getting killed by this, by tight ends and running backs just floating out to the middle of the field and catching balls out there. And, I don't get why we don't use the same tactic, and I still don't get how these guys are getting so open. It doesn't matter who we're playing, whether it's Philip Rivers or this dude Davis. It's like making us, shredding us up, looking like some kind of all-pro. And so can't use the quarterback's excuse that we've been playing these elite quarterbacks, because that wasn't certainly the case. The pass rush concern definitely is the one thing I don't know what it is they're going to have to do to change that, because even before, we've had the injuries. I've talked about this before, that compared to last year, we've been brutally decimated by injuries. and we already lost a lot of people depth-wise from last year. And so it's becoming pretty clear that this is the result of that, we don't get the rotation and the line, so you have Bennett and Averill playing more downs, so they're not coming in as fresh for those specific quarterback pressure situations. They're playing more, downs, which of course, these guys play longer, they're going to get more tired, and so, they're not as fresh as they were last year when we could just keep rotating guys. So I'm sure that's all, related, but, the fact is, even before we had the injuries, we still really weren't getting a whole lot of pressure in those first few games. So, we're way off the mark when it comes to sacks, pressure, turnovers. We're a fraction of what we were last year. And I think it really does start with the line, because, when you get pressure on the quarterback, you just disrupt everything else with the timing and with the passing game, which then results in turnovers for the linebackers and for the Legion of Boom. And so it kind of goes hand in hand, which is, I think it just starts with the line and that lack of pressure. And if they can find a way to fix that, then I think everything else will kind of fall into place, like a domino effect. And right now it's not happening up front, so everybody else is, not able to carry on their end, And so we were so good last year getting pressure over the front four, and it's just not happening. So I heard Pete Carroll talk about how they're going to address that, and he said we definitely have been doing it the same way as we did last year, and it's not working, so we're going to have to do some things different. And obviously he didn't say what it was, but it's not like we're suddenly going to have new bodies in there. That's not going to change, and so while guys will get healthier, we get a few more people back in there, for the most part, that front four is not changing a whole lot. So to me, what that means is they're going to change their scheme. So, are they going to do more line stunts to get guys free, something they haven't done before? Are they going to have to blitz more? The next thing nervous about that is that when we have blitzed this year, we have more often than not failed to get to the quarterback and actually, get a sack or a pressure, and then it just leaves us more vulnerable, in the middle somewhere. So, that's, I guess, my biggest concern moving forward is just I don't know how we're going to fix that. I know that that's what they know they need to fix it, but how are they going to do it? So that's going to be a coaching challenge for Carroll and for defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, but that's their job, right? I mean, they're supposed to, that's what their job is, deal with things that when things don't go as planned, you have to adjust. The NFL is all about adjustments and matchups, and if something isn't working, you just can't keep banging your head against the wall. You gotta try to fix what's not working. And they've had 6 games, and it certainly hasn't been working. So they're gonna have to get it done now. And we're entering in this stretch that is, I already thought last week was a must-win in my head, but obviously that's past now. So we're in must-win territory against every team that we play, and it doesn't matter whether they're the Raiders, who haven't won a game, or Carolina. In my book, right now, it's like you just got to win every single game and not count anyone like, oh yeah, well we'll get this one, because we're not dominating anybody. So if the Rams can beat us, who's to say nobody, anybody else can? But they're gonna have to get pressure, and it's going to be against a running QB, which we haven't had to deal with a lot yet this year. So it's going to be a new test. So hopefully they can keep things contained and kind of get the defense turned around. It's going to be a challenge, but like I said, I'm optimistic that these guys can get it done. We're only 3-3. It's 6 games in. Anything can still happen at this point. But now our margin of error it just continues to shrink the more you lose early games. Right now, Arizona's on top 5-1. The further ahead they get from where we're all at, it's just going to make it that much more tougher for us to kind of to hang in there. And I think winning this division is still the key to having any kind of chance of making it deep into the playoffs. So we got to hope that we get some help to knock Arizona down. Hope that Philly can beat Arizona, keep them tight, and hope the other teams can just continue to beat NFC West opponents so that we can just keep it a nice tight pack, and hopefully we get things turned around and we can jump out of the lead of this race. You know, so we got a long way to go, but we can get it done. This game was, again, a lot like the Dallas game and how the flow of it was. Eerily like the Dallas game, where we started off, just had a horrible first half. Had one good drive to begin the game, hit the red zone bug where we couldn't get 7 on the board in the first half. And again, that in a 2-point game, you know, it's like that. A missed red zone opportunity cost you the game. So you can almost say that first opening drive was where we could have lost the game. You know, obviously every other situation after that played in as well. But I'm getting tired of seeing failed, miscues and penalties and just failing to convert in the red zone. It's deflating when you have to settle for 3. You know, so that was a bad start in that game. And then the rest of the first half was just almost like a nightmare. And then we had that one drive where Russell got sacked 3 times. And the Rams, that until that game, had only had 1 sack all season. Not good. I mean, that's been kind of the problem all year long. We did get things turned around in this, before the half, getting a stop when I thought we were at that point where St. Louis had the ball again and they were driving near the end of the half, and I thought, man, if they get one more touchdown and get up, what was it, 28-3, I think, something like that. It felt like it was going to be game over, but luckily the defense did make a stand, forced them to miss a field goal, and then we got our own field goal before the end of the half to score, keep it relatively close before the half, and that was good. They showed some sign of life there, and then the third quarter came along and it was great. Shut down the offense. I don't think they scored in that third quarter. Had great defensive stops. Pretty major adjustment on the offensive line. They started bringing in guys, which is a bad sign, but at least they were adjusting for it. But they brought in what's his name, Bailey, to come in and help block on that right side with Britt. They did that also with I saw Curse come in there to help chip a little bit. Britt is a rookie, and he's struggled all year long from that right side. We've talked about it many times, and obviously they finally realized they just need to get some help. So, it just seemed to work because we had a run game going. We, started making plays, and of course Russell took over and got us back close to that game. So close. There was that amazing play where we had a 3rd and 17 after a holding call that put us in a really bad situation, and then Russell made an amazing play to Baldwin, who fought for the extra couple of yards. That was really great. And then we ended up scoring a touchdown, I think on that drive. Yeah. Then there's that debate: should we have gone for 2 at that point? We had a lot of time left in the game, and if we'd gone for 1 instead and just got the sure points later on, we would have been able to put off going for 2 and kept it to a 1-score game. Instead, we missed it, and it was so close. On that play, going for 2, it's like he threw the ball. It was, I think Turpin would have had it, but Curse was in the same vicinity, and he ended up going for it, knocked it down. And I was like, no, Turpin, that was yours. But it didn't work out, and then we got 2 scores back, and then obviously we did everything we could to try to catch up at that point, but it was, came down to having to make that one final stop, which we did. Sherman makes an amazing pass defensive play, setting up for what looked like a punt. And we're so excited. We were all just going nuts, thinking we're going to win this game. We were moving the ball with ease, and by that point in the game, and knew that if we got it, all we had to do is get to the 30-yard line or 35-yard line, and we'd win this thing. And it felt like it was in the bag. It was going to happen, and then suddenly the fake. It was weird because I remember watching being at the game there, watching the line as they were waiting for the snap of the punt, and I remember the guys were kind of looking around and doing some kind of signal, like they were adjusting for something, but whatever it was, they weren't ready for it, and gosh, it's just like fake punt. There's only 2 things that can go wrong on a punt. Either they kick it and you fumble it, or you give up the fake. And when you run a fake, there's only really a couple things you can do. Either the up back, they do some trick like they snap it to the up back, he runs it, or they snap it to the punter and he passes it, or they snap it to the punter and he runs it. I mean, there's really only so many things you can do out of a fake because only one guy's going to get the ball, or only 2 guys can get the ball, the up back or the punter. And the up back just ran out there untouched. So deflating. And then, of course, the game was pretty much over until that fumble when that we thought Sherman landed on top of. And I still haven't watched the broadcast of the game, but from what we saw inside the stadium, it sure looked like we had the ball. But I still don't really understand the ruling on that play. Anyway, so that's a debatable thing. But again, I refuse to rationalize our loss and blame the officiating on it, because it's just, won't do it. I believe there is bad calls, but to think that the officials are out to try to make us lose, can't believe that. I know it's easy to look at play and go, look at this call. It's so totally lopsided, and sometimes it's hard to not argue that statistical information. But if you buy into that, then why even bother watching football? I mean, if you truly believe that the NFL is out to get us, then you might as well stop playing, stop watching the game, because it just means it kills any belief you have in that this is actually a sport being played on the merits of the teams trying to win a game honestly, right? So anyway, I don't believe in the whole conspiracy theory. I do believe that the refs make some bad calls, and maybe it's just bad luck or whatever, but that it falls on us. But maybe I'll feel differently at the end of the season if this continues, but right now I just refuse to blame the refs for that. Just saying, okay? There's other things we could have done to not have to worry about that. Too many things. On the positive side, this kind of went pretty unnoticed because we lost the game, but Russell Wilson made history once again, being the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards and run for 100 yards. And he was pretty amazing. I mean, got the team back into this game when I thought pretty much all was lost going into the half. Kept it close enough to a point where, I think if we got our hands on the ball one more time, it would have been done. But so kudos to Russell for once again making history and doing everything he could to help this team. Had that 52-yard quarterback scramble. That's a career high for him. That was pretty amazing. Got the old pump fake, got him going. Run the other direction while he just ran down the sideline. So the offense found some bit of a rhythm. Obviously, they only had 2 days to adjust, or not even 2 days, barely a day to adjust to the loss of Percy Harvin. But now they're going to game plan a whole week without him. I expect the offense to be different from what we saw on Sunday, but with sparks of, from what we saw, it's going to move in that direction. A lot more Paul Richardson and a lot of the new guys in there, and I'm actually excited about that, to see what our new recruits can finally do getting on the field. They already started making some contributions last week, and I think there'll be a lot more. So, but what that told me, it convinced me that we don't need Harvin. We can survive without Harvin on offense. Okay, I think we got the weapons there, but our kick return game is not good. I don't know why they put Brian Walters. I don't mind Brian Walters in there as a punt returner. I'd rather see Baldwin in there returning kicks, because he's done a good job in the past returning kicks for us last season. That kick return game is like no threat right now. No offense, Mr. Walters. No one's going to be scared of kicking the ball to us. Who do you think should be returning kicks? I think it should be Baldwin. Turbin did it last year, and he fumbled all over the place, so I don't want to see that again. Curse at one point returned kicks, I think, but we haven't seen that in quite a while. So that Australian rugby guy that everyone's been talking about, and it'll be interesting to see if that actually goes anywhere, that story. One thing that these last few games has demonstrated to me is that, it really is amazing how close, how everything is really decided. A game's outcome is decided by sometimes just one play, one call, one mistake. And you look back, it feels like last year's team to this year's team they're worlds apart. But if you look at certain games, we've had games like this last year. The Buccaneers game, the Houston Texans game, even the Tennessee Titans, we start off terribly. 20 to nothing, I believe, and then the Buccaneers 21 to nothing at a point. And those were games where we were all feeling like, what the heck? Who are we watching here? It took some miraculous plays and just the ball going just our way, like the Golden Tate Buccaneers punt return for a long yardage to get, to set up one of our scores, or the Sherman Texans pick that got us back to a tie ball game. We really shouldn't have won either of those games. If those two teams, just the opponents, Texans and Buccaneers, just do one thing right, take one mistake away, and those are 2 losses right there. And, you know, our record looks completely different. You know, I mean, suddenly we're instead of 13-3, we could have been 11-5. And so I look at these games, like Dallas and the Rams game. I mean, those games all came down to, at different points, one play, one possession, that you change that, and all of a sudden you're talking about a completely different summary about what that game meant. But you forget about the fact that we could have lost it. We just look at it, oh yeah, we won, you know. But that's how close it is. And for some reason this year, we've just been on this side of that tipping point, where you've got to be on this side to win, get that one play, and we've just been one shy for some reason. Even interceptions that were right in our hands. You know, the Dallas game where Byron Maxwell, you know, in an alternate universe, he catches that ball before the Dallas ever scores their first touchdown. He breaks it for a pick 6, and it's 17-0. And I think we go on to win that game. You know, I mean, that close. That close. That one play would have changed everything. You know, Seattle really over the last 3 seasons, I want to say, they have been in games right up to the end. You know, they have always had a chance to win or come back or tie the game in the final minute or 2 of a game, which is good. I mean, keeps you always, every game's exciting, fun to watch, and they're never boring in that regard, because you're always feeling like you got a chance, even if you start horribly. It's not that different from last season, because we had a few games like that we kicked that we shouldn't have. So all the more reason why it just comes back to, you know, we've just got to execute and not do those things to shoot ourselves in the foot, from penalties to mistakes, and, you know, just not catching passes, and simple execution. I think they clean that up. You know, that will be a touchdown we get instead of a field goal in the red zone. You know, and that 4 extra points just might be enough to swing it, because it feels like we're just not in a, you know, if we are going to go on to, you know, hopefully on a little bit of a winning streak and get things turned around, I feel like we're just not going to be in that sort of dominating, blowing out people type of situation. It's always going to be close. So when it's close, it's you can't have any mistakes. The margin of error, again, is so small. This is the biggest test ever. You know, we cannot afford to get 3 in a row here. You know, it just would be horrible. So we really got to get this. Like I said, every game now to me is a must win. So I don't even think I have to keep saying that. We must win every game until we're back on top in the NFC West. Going to St. Louis, you'll see a lot of this in the videos, and I apologize for being so behind schedule on this. It's just been a kind of crazy week, and being gone during all that time, and the Percy Harvin stuff, just sort of everything got kind of behind schedule. But I am going to post the Dallas game. I'm going to post the Rams game, and the Rams game was fun just because, you know, I got to go to St. Louis for the first time since I was a kid. First time, obviously, for a Seahawks game. The video will be fun. It's going to be a lot of interactions with the 12s I met down there, and particularly the Midwest Seahawkers, who all converged. They call it the ambush at the arch, and I met 12 men from everywhere, from, you know, funny, mostly from places outside of St. Louis. So, you know, Tennessee, Cleveland, Chicago, Kansas. I mean, they were just from everywhere, and it was a lot of fun. So I got to meet a lot of people that I've known on Facebook and online, but got to finally meet a lot of them face to face, so that was a lot of fun. Special thanks to Rome De La Salas and his wife Grace. If it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't have even made this trip. He hooked me up with the ticket and the accommodations, and we're great hosts. So thank you guys. It was fun hanging out with you and getting to know you, and, you know, sharing the whole 12-man experience. It was a blast. So I don't know, maybe we'll have to make this an annual thing too. Jason Coiner, also, the legendary Jason Coiner, who, as you may or may not know, was the guy who basically was able to get the LOB on the Madden splash screen. He kind of personally pushed that through, got the support of people all around the country to lobby for that effort, and made it happen. So I got to meet the man, and I can see why he was able to get that done. Great fan, diehard Seahawks fan, and, you know, a great person. And got to meet his wife as well. And so just a whole bunch of people from so many different places that were fun to hang out with. One story that was pretty funny during the game, I should have kept my camera rolling during this, but I didn't because I got a little scared. But during the, I believe it was the second quarter, I was making a lot of noise. You'll see on the video. I mean, I was trying to get leading chants and making noise. I felt a little foolish at times because I was just doing what I do normally at games, and I found myself alone, howling and screaming and standing up. Even amongst my 12 men, people, I was like, "Come on, guys, help me out here." Kind of hard when you're getting down so early in the game, right? But still kept going. But at one point, a security guard came up to our row and he points at me. He goes, "You need to come with me." I was like, looking around like, "Me? What'd I do?" And I saw him, and he's like, "No, yes, you need to come with me." So I was like, "Uh-oh." I thought, Norb-Cam is in trouble. I've been caught by the NFL. They're gonna shut me down, So I complied, went with him. He escorted me from the row down into the that little passageway between the main concourse and the inside of the stadium. And there I walked down, followed him there, and then got met by another like a police officer. So the two of them were facing me. And I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good." And then he tells me, he said, "Well, sir, the reason we had to escort you down here is because we received a report that someone fitting your description wearing green hair in section 145 was smoking marijuana." And I almost started laughing right there because, a lot of you guys don't know me personally, but I'm like the furthest thing from a guy who smokes weed, all right? So I've never even touched the stuff, right? So I'm telling him, I was like, "Look, there's no way it was me. I'll take whatever tests you want. You can smell my breath, look into my eyes. And you tell me, do I look like a guy who's high? Plus, why would I do that in the middle of the stadium, surrounded by a bunch of people? I mean, you have to be a fool to smoke in the stadium." I didn't tell him that, but I'm thinking that. But I said, "Ask anybody sitting next to me. They'll vouch for me that I haven't been doing anything of the sort." I said, I just need to get back up there. My team needs me. I need to get back there and start cheering. So I think they looked at me enough to realize that this is all a big mistake, and they let me go. But I was nervous for a second there, Like I said, I thought maybe I was in trouble for Norb-Cam. But it was all good. No harm, no foul. It just made me miss a play or two, which not acceptable. But obviously some fan just messing with me. I mean, how hard is it to pick out a guy with green hair in section 145? Like the only one. Can't have some other description. Yeah, there's a person with a 12 jersey. I need to arrest him. Like, okay, which of the 50 should I choose? All in all, it was a great trip, and it's just unfortunate that we didn't come back with a win. That would have made it, would have been the best comeback ever, at least for this season, and would have been a great way to end the trip. But it didn't work out that way, so we'll have to get him next week. All right. Oh, a couple of quick announcements before I finish up. Besides saying a shout out to my Northwest Motorsport, trucks, and more trucks. Check it out. There are a couple things. One, for those of you here in the Puget Sound area, on Friday night, there's going to be a Seahawks Anthem concert fundraiser. Friday night at Ozzy's over on Queen Anne Hill. So check it out. You can go to the12experience.com, and they're selling tickets to that event. It's only $12 to get in, and basically a bunch of the artists who have written Seahawks anthems will be there performing. I won't be one of them, even though I did write a Seahawks anthem, but I'm planning to be there just to check things out and support. The proceeds will go to help John Bachner, who, as some of you may have seen in an earlier video, Mark Collins and I visited him, Harborview Medical Center, after he got into an accident, and as a result ended up being paralyzed from the neck down. And so he just, I believe yesterday, was released from the hospital to finally go home. And so some of the proceeds from this event are going to help John and his family get a van, a handicapped accessible van for him. So it's a good cause. So if you guys are in town, go check it out. Ozzy's tomorrow night. I believe things start at 7 o'clock. And one final note, if you guys are interested, here's an opportunity to win 2 free tickets to the November 2nd Oakland Raider game. As As some of you may know, I've done some partnering work with the United Way of King County, and they do a lot of great service help to those in need here in the Puget Sound area, and they are giving away 2 tickets to that game. And so you just need to go to Facebook and look up United Way of King County, okay? And they'll be up in the top, there's an app that says win Seahawks tickets, and you just click on that. It tells you a couple steps of what to do, and then you get entered in the drawing to win the 2 tickets. So go check it out, United Way of King County on Facebook. All right, there you go. That was a lot of stuff there. Thanks for watching, as always. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll get those videos up very soon. The Cowboys one and the Rams. Just got to do some catch-up work. But yeah, win or lose, the videos are coming up, and they're still entertaining, no matter what. So hope you'll keep watching, and let's get it done this weekend, all right? We need this one. All right. Catch you next time. Go Hawks.
Thank you for watching Norb-Cam. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking the button at the top. To watch the agonizingly painful Dallas game with a lot of really cool pre-game Norb-Cam stuff, click the video on the left. To watch my journey to St. Louis for the Seahawks-Rams game, click the video in the middle. To watch Rivals Episode 2, where I battle this 80s Broncos fan named Mike, click the video on the right. Thanks for watching. Go Hawks!